Hey guys, thanks again for joining me. For those of you who are just tuning in, I'm Anne, and I'm going to give a general love reading. I do this on a weekly basis, focusing on divine partners. That includes soulmates, twin flames, karmic connections, and twin rays, and all spiritual love connections. So if this is your very first time on my channel, thank you for joining me. And please stay and watch, because I'm sure there's a message for you since you've landed on this video. Okay, so now that we're in the shadow phase, Mercury retrograde, and a lot of you are starting to feel a little bit of a rumble. Sometimes it can be a little more intense than other times, and hopefully this one will come through in a very like a smooth transition, because I know we go through different stages with Mercury retrograde. Not that it's a bad thing. I talk about this all the time, and I don't want to go into it too much, but if you can use it to your highest good by getting things done, basically, things that have been unfinished. I always talk about projects, situations, because many times with Mercury retrograde, things happen, and sometimes it's in a very positive way, and sometimes not. So use it to your highest good. It's how you take it. But we are getting close to, getting to changes, and the energy shifts, and eclipses are coming up next month. And you know what? It's not a bad thing. Sometimes changes and shifts are a really good thing for us, many of us. It's how you take it. So we'll just take it one step at a time, focusing on what is true in your inner truth, what you need to focus on. So I laid out the cards, as I always do: divine masculine, divine feminine. They don't necessarily mean that one is better for the other. If you have a soul partner, or if you're looking for one, this is all result to what you are taking in. So it's divine masculine, feminine. They go together, and it lives inside of all of us. So the first card that came up was every storm must pass. As you can see, this is the divine masculine, and basically divine masculines are going through a bit amount of a storm, yes. And we've been seeing a lot of transition. They go from one end to the other end to the other end, and I'm not talking about in a good way. It seems like there's a lot of emotional challenges. As this card says, resolve the issue. They're not necessarily always doing this. It seems like divine masculines tend to try to hide or try to disconnect from something that's more internal. And when I say internal, I don't mean it's like, oh, they just need to clear out the clutter, so to speak. No, there's some things that's been rooted in there, and they need to examine it. Now, with the storm that must pass, it's basically, this is all happening for obviously a reason, and it's not necessarily meaning that you have to change everything in order to make it happen for you and that person. The storm is part of what we see when we see a rainbow. Okay, I'm going to give it an illustration with a rainbow, since there is a rainbow, whoops, in this card. If you can get a glimpse of it, it's like right in this corner. I think it's a very beautiful card. I love these cards. And you know what? When there's a rainbow, it means one thing. There's a new beginning, there's light, there's hope. That's what, to me, a rainbow represents. Everybody has a different feeling towards rainbows, and I love rainbows. It represents that when the storm is coming through, yeah, it's not easy for a lot of us, and we all go through our challenges. I've been going through them, and a lot of you have been telling me about your challenges. We all stick together. But it doesn't mean that we have to just fall apart. Now, the divine masculines, they tend to sometimes fall apart. And I'm not saying this because it's like they can't face what their fear is. They're facing their fear, but they're not handling it very well because of the emotional challenges. When there is a challenge going on in a relationship, this person may not be seeing things the way you see them. And you may, and vice versa. When this happens, automatically you start to kind of like panic, and anxiety sometimes kicks in, and that panic mode, that panic button just keeps blinking off and on, and it's not good to be that way. It's not good to put too much emphasis on your situation. This is what the divine masculines have been doing, and when the divine masculine inside of us, or inside of your partner, they're going through something. So if your relationship, this person that you're involved with, is going through this, and you can see it and you know it, and maybe this is a very difficult time for them to communicate, especially now with the shadow phase of Mercury retrograde, this can prevent communication. When there's a relationship going on, it seems that they can't seem to get past anything good. They can't seem to see anything good, I should say. And this automatically causes them to fall apart. And when they fall apart, they end up not feeling, I don't know, like they just can't see that rainbow like I just talked about. It's a daily process every day for all of us. And maybe you can't tell them, and maybe you can't tell yourself either. It's going to get better. You know, sometimes these things happen that none of us can tell each other because it is all for a due purpose. Like if that storm is happening outside, you know it's going to stop eventually, right? And you just don't know how long, you know, because the weatherman says one thing, another weatherman says another thing, and it all confuses you. And they say, oh, the storm pressure is coming in. You know how they talk on the on the Weather Channel. That's great that they can give that little bit of a prediction. And if they're right, we're happy. But sometimes it's not always like that, and it doesn't work out like that with spirituality. It's part of a process, a day-to-day process. Nobody can really predict how long a challenge, an obstacle, a difficult time is going to last, because it's all about working on yourself with embracing change. Divine Masculine needs to embrace the change. As you can see, these two little babies, they're so adorable. I love babies. It just represents embracing the change, just like the babies. The babies are welcoming and being welcomed in this world as this, like these baby angels. That's what they are. And there's a welcome pattern beside them. The dolphins are swimming. The energy is just so positive because they're welcoming the change. Awakened spirit is awakening, desire to change. A desire to change is a big, big, big factor here. Divine Masculines want to change. They want to go through that new beginning, that change that is meant for them. But what happens when they keep looking at the past? And this is a very big thing, what happens with Mercury retrograde. Yes, we see divine unions happening in the middle of Mercury retrograde. Very, very common with relationships just coming out of the woodwork. People you see, you haven't seen in 20 years, 10 years, whatever. You see things that you haven't seen before. It's like, wow, what is going on here? This is like a blast from the past. And that could be a good thing, and sometimes it could be a trigger. It could be a bad thing. This is why it's not good to relive an old pattern, an old wound, something that is healed, something that is really has just been let go of. You let go of it a long time ago. You said goodbye. You said that's it. You got out of that situation, or you got out of that feeling. You let go of it. I like I said before, these are all messages coming through from the divine through me to give to you. And you know what? Maybe I'm not wording it 100%, but you got what I'm saying. Don't keep going back to something or looking even further or digging, because that is only going to invite more confusion. And whatever you're involved in currently, maybe it's a brand new relationship, but you've been through so much with a particular person or people in general. It just doesn't embrace the change. Just like with these babies, they're coming into the world, but though they had a difficult time, maybe a difficult time being birthed into the world, and they don't look at that. They look at they're in the world. You know, they don't keep looking at the pain it caused them or the negative or anything like that. Awakened spirit is about awakening. When you awaken yourself, your whole body, your whole spirit just automatically just booms, wakes up. You see it different. You know what happens? You start to see things different. You start to see things in a different light, that you're welcoming it. And that's what the Divine Masculine is beginning to do, though they have to get through this storm. Not that Divine Feminines are not going through something. I mean, everybody goes through something one time or another, and you know what? That's part of life. We can't say why we have to go through it. We just take it on. And you know what? It gets us stronger. That is the main purpose of why we go through a lot of the things that we go through. It's to get us stronger, to take on to what we can endure. God doesn't let us take things that we can't endure. And that's basically why we have to test our strength. We have to get stronger. It's like when you work out. You know, I use illustration of working out because I work out every day. And I encourage everybody to exercise. It's good for your body, it's good for your spirit and mind. So when you do something that's a little uncomfortable, you know, like weightlifting, you know, or cardio or yoga or something that just involves a lot of your energy. You don't like it right away. You're like, this is something I don't think I'm going to do. I can't lift another, you know, rep. I can't hold this pose too much longer. I can't go another minute on the treadmill or outside what I'm doing. You know why? Because your mind is telling you this. You know why? Because your mind is saying, you can't do it. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can do it. Because if you just get that endurance and get that feeling, you know, I can do this. Guess what? You probably went another extra mile. You probably lifted maybe an extra 2 sets, 3 sets. Maybe you did another exercise right afterwards, or you held that pose for a lot longer than you realized. This is the same way it goes with what we're going through with our challenges. Of course, yeah, that's a little different because we choose to do these things. We choose to, you know, work out. I just say this because it's not comfortable. Not comfortable meaning that when we get into certain situations and when a relationship is not going well, and maybe you've put so much energy into something and it's been so much time going by and nothing is happening, or it just seems like it's not going anywhere, that's when you have to look a little bit deeper inside your heart. And divine masculines have a problem with this. Yeah, they do. Divine feminines don't seem to have a problem with it as much, but in a different way, if that makes sense. Because divine masculine right now is going through a lot of change, and this is good. We've been seeing this. Change is good. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Not that everybody is going to be the same. You know, you have to remember something. Because we hear a lot of things like from other people, they're getting back together, they're finding their soulmate, they're coming together, divine unions are happening everywhere. That's beautiful. Not that it's not meant for anybody to do it. It's not that you're not meant, she's not meant, he's not meant. It's all about what divine timing is when you work on yourself, okay? Divine feminines, you're learning how to reset yourself, reset your energy, reset your energy. And I know that divine feminines go through a lot, that they feel that they may go through more than divine masculine. And divine masculine feels like they go through more than divine feminines. It's kind of like ego comes into place in this both category when it comes to finding something that makes them happy, but though they're not happy inside themselves. So when you're not happy inside yourself, guys, you're not going to be happy with that person. You're not going to be happy in any situation with finding somebody. Sometimes you say, I'm afraid to love again because what happens to me is I get hurt all the time, or the person does the same thing to me, so why even bother? Or you could say, I'm not finding the right person because I'm just not ready. Maybe you aren't. Maybe you're meant to reset your energy, okay? Spirit messages, observe limitations. And listen, it's important to pay attention. It's important to hear those messages. I know a lot of people ask me, how do I hear messages? How do I get what you get? How do I understand them? How they're not talking to me. Guess what? They're not going to talk to me either. I don't hear them in a voice. I've always said this. The messages that I get come to me like the way you would get like a feeling. It comes from within. I can't describe it. You know, you're empathic or you're gifted in some way. Maybe you have abilities that you don't realize. You'll understand it as you clear off things out of your life. You know, like clear the fog. You know, when you're driving, everybody has psychic abilities, some sort of spiritual abilities. This is everyone. We're all the same. Really, guys, we are. When we're driving, and if there's a huge, thick fog out there or walking, how do you see what's in front of you? You don't. Maybe that fog just needs a little clearing. You know, maybe the window is full of fog. Maybe the AC was doing something and it fogged up your windows. You know, and you know, some people like to write their name, but no, seriously, you have to clear the fog. And how you do this is work on yourself, reset your energy. Divine feminines are like, we've been going through a lot of shifts, changes, new beginnings. Things are happening, but have you really started to really look at what you're doing to yourself in the process? Yeah, you know, like I just talked about working out and exercise, you know, maybe you're over exerting yourself. Yeah, You're lifting too high. You're lifting too heavy, I should say. You're putting too much pressure on your joints, on your muscles. You know, you're overflexing, you're overstretching. What happens is that you're not listening to what the messages are. You're not listening to what your spirit is telling you. Your spirit is saying, slow down. Slow down, reset your energy. Take it one step at a time. Self-love. Now, this is another interesting card. As divine feminines, and this is not, okay, I'm not saying that divine feminines are strictly for women. I'm talking about the men out there too, guys. Men, women. This could be a woman, this could be a man, or both. Seriously, we lean towards both of them over and over. I know I do. I go divine masculine and I go divine feminine. Right now I'm a little bit of both, so I'm actually resonating with both. So this reading is all for you. Okay, this is for you, or it could be for your partner. Maybe it's resonating with you in a sense that, yeah, I know somebody, I know her, or I know him, and I need to give this message out. By all means, please forward it to them so they can get the message, because it is something that is coming from the divine. Self-love. Have you been really focusing on loving yourself? And I don't mean like, yeah, I do love myself. I love me. I'm here. I got no choice. See? You do, because you should just embrace love for yourself. Don't care what other people are saying. Don't care what other people want from you, what they demand from you. This is why insecurities set in. Saying I'm sorry, you know, this is like a bad habit for me too. You know, not that I'm apologetic all the time and I'm saying I'm sorry to everybody, but sometimes we oversay it, that we don't realize we are pulling our soul center down. We're not putting out what we feel in our heart. You know, like somebody by accident bumps you. You say, oh, I'm sorry, but they bumped you. Why did you say you're sorry when they're the ones that bumped you? I know I do that, but the reason why is mainly because I don't want that person to feel bad, or I don't want to make anybody feel bad. That's great. You know, you have a big heart. We all have a big heart when it comes to, I don't want to hurt somebody. And you know what? That's wonderful. But you didn't hurt anyone to begin with. And when you say, I'm sorry, you're surrendering something that you didn't have to. And I see this with a lot of people, and I say, you don't have to say you're sorry, because I totally get it. I totally understand it. And when you do this, you're not inviting the love for yourself. So you don't find the self-love for yourself. Allow them. Sometimes you have to allow them to say, oh, I'm sorry, I bumped into you. And then you say, don't worry, no worries, it's okay. That's fine. It's not like you need to be the one that is kind of like in control of the situation, but you didn't do nothing wrong. If you purposely, I'm going to bump that person because that person is in my way, then you have all the rights to say, oh, I'm sorry if they fell down. You got what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy, but it's the best way I can describe it, because I see this so much from so many different people. And you know what? The people are like very strong. Sometimes they're very, how could I say? They have a lot of pride. They have so much inside of them that they're stronger than a lot of people that I know, but they still say it. And that doesn't mean that they're weak. Just means that they're extending themselves. And I don't know why this is coming up, but it's a message for somebody, because this is about self-love. And when we talk about self-love is going out there in the world and loving who you are, not allowing people to pull your spirit down, pull your vibration down. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to, guys, because eternal union, new love is forming. Very beautiful card. Very beautiful card. I love this card. It is a card that represents something that is coming together, eternal union. Does that mean that person is coming back? Maybe that means that person is getting more to their self, and they're showing you more. Maybe you're involved with this person and this person is finally getting it. Or it could be that you're going to find somebody new. Whatever this is, it's eternal union. And because it's two people, it means that you need to connect with yourself, first of all, before you can connect to that person. When this happens, sometimes we don't see it, sometimes we don't understand it, but we end up finding ourselves in a little bit of a tailspin, because we get all confused on, am I supposed to be with this person, or maybe I'm supposed to call it quits, or maybe I'm just supposed to forget about it. Only you can make that decision. I can't make that decision. Nobody can make that decision. I mean, that's the reason why God gives us free will. free will to make the choices and make the decisions that we have to make in our lives. That's why I give these readings, to help you guys, not to tell you what to do. Sometimes I'm very firm when I say stuff, and I always, I'm not apologizing for it, because I do it for your highest good. And, sometimes a little bit more of a firmer way of looking at things helps you. I know for me anyways, that I need somebody sometimes to just tell me like it the way it is, pull the Band-Aid off. I don't want to be, I don't want to hear it in bits. I want to hear the whole thing. That's just the way I am. I guess maybe it's the Scorpio in me. I don't know. But Divine Feminines, I'm looking at a pattern right now, and you're getting messages. You're getting messages to stop putting so much emphasis on how to make things better from what you've done previously, but look at what you have today. Look at what is in front of you. Making a relationship, if it's worth salvageable, if it's worth working on, if you feel it in your heart, this is what you need to do. And vice versa, it's all about, do I need to stay with this person because this person, I'm so codependent that nothing is ever going to change? Maybe it's time to take a break. Maybe it's time to take a step back. Maybe it's time to just break it off. Maybe you've been wanting to. Don't let what you've felt previously interfere with what is today, because when we are sent people, and remember, not everybody is meant to be life partnership. Sometimes it's temporary partnership, a temp partner. Okay, I like that. It's a little bit different, but no. Sometimes people come into our lives. It happens to all of us, and you know what? That's the fun part. Embrace it as it comes, and then leave it as a memory. If you can go on like that, like living your life, not looking at everybody as a life partner, because when we look at them as life partners, we invite, like a vulnerability, like, if this doesn't happen, I don't know what's going to happen. No, you're going to be okay. That's why you have self-love. That's why embracing change. Both divine masculine, divine feminines. You both have to look at this in an even pattern, not so much of it's black or white. It's got to be balanced. It's got to be balanced. And don't let anybody tell you different, because you are amazing. You have a higher self-worth you have to look at. You have to focus on that and ponder it and hold on to it. Because every day it's a challenge. It's a challenge to get through the situations we go through. Everybody is different. And I can relate to it, because we're all equal. We all can. When we talk about ourselves, when we talk about our situations, when we talk about just general things that happen in our lives, don't you ever notice that we all can relate to it? It's like, yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, that's what happened to me before. And you know what? It's kind of like interacting, because I want to hear what they say, because it helps me think of, maybe it's not so bad. Let me see what they went through. And we go on the internet, let's see what other people are going through. That's why it's like kind of like you're comparing notes. Don't over compare, okay? Don't compare too far deep, because everybody is different. Like I said, that's why we have conversations, like, oh, you know what, I'm so exhausted. Do you ever get like that from coming from the heat and the sun? Yeah, all the time. You have to come back into the air, or you have to just get out of the sun for one. Like this is, I'm just giving it an example, because it happens to me all the time. Okay, so a lot of these messages were very, very intense, and I hope that they resonated with you. Like I said, revisit this video if nothing really clicked, or write it down so you can remember what the messages came through. Sometimes you have to revisit a video to get the messages. I know it happens to me all the time. Maybe there's someone out there, like I said before, maybe this person needs to hear this video. Maybe you're trying to tell them, but they can't hear it from you, and they need to hear it from somebody else, and I hope I can help them or help you. So if you'd like to get your own personalized reading, I do offer phone chat and email readings, and the links are down below in the description area. Also, I have other videos and my blog articles that you can check out. I try to write as often as I can. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, I advise that you do, because I do send out a basic newsletter every week talking about the new material that I released. So, because I do have several different blogs, and I'll go into that later. But anyways, you guys got what I'm saying, okay? And I just want to say one more thing. thank you, thank you, thank you to all of my new subscribers. I'm really happy that I can share this video and these readings on the videos, I should say, to so many different people. It's been like quite a journey, and I'm really excited because now I can, you know, I try to go throughout all the channels or platforms using the same video. I want to do more videos, but it seems like my timing is not good right now, and that's fine because they're still going around. It's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, IGTV. I'm getting a lot of response from different places, and I think it's wonderful, and I'm so happy. I feel so blessed just to be here for you guys, and it's a positive energy exchange, and I wouldn't have it any other way because you guys give me so much in return. It's changed my life, and you know, it's been going on for quite a few years, and I don't plan on quitting. I want to keep being here for you guys, and as much as I can help you, I want to help you because you guys help me so many different ways. And if you're not following me on any of my channels, I really hope we can connect. So like I said, the links are down below, so I don't want to go into that too much. So until next time, God be with you all. Namaste.